The Bible took place in America, not the Middle East. So that's the topic we're discussing and looking into here on my channel. So when looking into this and asking this question, did the Bible actually take place in America? One of the first things we have to do is establish an understanding of where our assumptions are coming from. I realized a long time ago that a lot of my worldview and my beliefs were based on assumptions. So when I learned how to recognize and question those assumptions, I really started to see things in a different way. So a lot of the assumptions that we have are based on what we were taught as children and young adults. But I really recommend this book and also this book if you are interested in breaking down those assumptions that we are all living under. These books are invaluable for breaking down and creating an understanding of how the educational system in America, but also in other countries, was intentionally designed and created in order to create a certain set of beliefs and control. And these books directly correlate to the topic that we discuss here on my channel because he explains the history of the educational system, who was behind it, and the intention and purpose that it is designed to serve. He claims that the real purpose of schooling, modern schooling, isn't education but indoctrination, and that our modern day school system was put into place by the banking cartel, my words, paraphrasing, but basically the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that the nation state of Israel was also established by the Rothschilds, and the entire thing is extremely fishy. He talks very directly about how the modern day schooling system was intentionally created to create a world of people who would be happy to live in slavery, essentially, and be happy to serve both state and corporation. And he had over 30 years of experience in the school system as an award-winning teacher in the state of New York. So he knows what he's talking about. My father actually used to correspond with this man before he passed away. And I probably still have some of his letters that they wrote back and forth to each other. And I read this book for the first time when I was 12 years old. If you want to know how nerdy I really am. But once you start to see the connection and that the same people, the same groups, the same entities and corporations control the narrative in the Middle East, those same people control the narrative going on in our educational system, and that they have controlled it since the beginning of the 19th century, beginning of the 1900s, sorry, I misspoke. It becomes a lot easier to see what your bias or your blind spots or your assumptions might be, because you start to realize or you start to question if the history that we were taught in school is even remotely accurate, and you start to question if the science and the geography, if all of it, like you really start to question, and you have a framework for why would we be lied to this level? Because without understanding what the purpose is, it sounds ridiculous. When these pieces start to click into place, it all starts to make sense on a different level. Anyway, I'm carrying on, but I really wanted to share these books, and I really recommend, if you have any interest in the topic, this is a great place to just kind of start to open your eyes and understand what's going on in the world, that yes, we are intentionally being taught things that are not true, and why that might be. Anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts. If you've heard of him or read these books, I'd love to know what your thoughts are as well.